The story begins with the protagonist opening the door and finding his girlfriend with a spoiled, rich kid. She says that now that he has discovered everything, she's going to break up with him. And then she starts screaming, saying that he's poor and that he shouldn't have chosen her as his girlfriend. Then she throws him out and continues with the other guy. The protagonist arrives home crying, and when he least expects it, he receives a notification on his cell phone. This cuckold keeps thinking that it is his girlfriend who is regretting and sending him a message. But no, actually it's a WhatsApp notification asking if he wants to update. So he clicks on the button and updates his application. Sometime later he's in a group full of crazy people. Some of them have names like Lord of Thunder, Mother of Lightning, Almighty God of Miracles, and other crazy names. He thinks they are just a bunch of weirdos and ends up not paying much attention to this group on WhatsApp. However, he receives a notification from the Goddess of Wealth. And when he touches it, an envelope opens, looking like he has earned a merit point. His cell phone starts ringing because of the countless messages that are arriving there. And he begins to find those people quite funny because of the message they are exchanging there. Then he receives a new notification, which is a friend request. The name of this person is Jade Bunny. And he wonders if this girl looks the same as in the photo because he thought she was very pretty. Then she asks him if he wants to spend 10 merit points to see a photo of her taking a bath. He already thinks that this is a trap. However, she sends this photo to him even without him paying. And Leo, who's our protagonist, ends up clicking on this photo and is shocked by what he sees. Then a friend of his appears there in the dormitory of the university saying that he has urgent news. The singer Lily, who is the most beautiful girl there at the university, is singing in the bar nearby. After his friend leaves, our protagonist receives a mysterious book. This book appears there out of nowhere. And he finds this a bit strange. Upon arriving at the bar, he finds Lily singing. She really is very beautiful. Leo's friends even mention that she is the most beautiful girl in the city. And even Leo, the protagonist, is enchanted. He can't resist. When Lily finishes singing, a bully approaches her saying that he will pay for a drink. He starts to be unpleasant with her, and the other guys there in the bar feel sorry because this bully, called Chase, won't leave her alone. And because of this, nobody does anything. They just keep watching. Our protagonist, however, realizes that she is in trouble, so he stands up. His friend even tries to stop him, saying that he won't be able to beat this bully. Meanwhile, Chase ends up breaking the strap of her dress, leaving part of her breasts exposed. Outraged by this situation, our protagonist throws his jacket over her so that she covers herself. Then he throws himself in front of the bully. Then Chase asks who this guy is. And at this moment, the protagonist ends up kicking his private parts, making him scream in pain. Leo then extends his hand to this beautiful girl, and the two flee from there as fast as they can. And the bullies start chasing them, wanting to kill them. Leo's friends end up pretending there that they have nothing to do with this. They don't know the protagonist. While fleeing, Leo asks the girl not to look back. Leo remembers that he read a book earlier that mentioned a power called celestial music, which was that book that appeared out of nowhere there in the dormitory. Then he turns to the bully, and when Chase is about to hit him with a machete, the protagonist lets out an extremely powerful scream that ends up launching the bullies far away, making them all fly through the air. The girl is surprised, and Leo picks her up and carries her as far away as possible from there. He puts her on the ground and says that now they are safe. And she thanks him. Leo keeps thinking about how beautiful she is, and she asks to be able to keep his jacket, since it is very late and it's very cold. Then she says that she will return it the next day, and Leo, as he is a simp, ends up agreeing. Then the girl kisses him on his face there and runs away embarrassed. Meanwhile, he stays there with his nose bleeding. The next morning his friend asks how the hell he managed to survive, since he was running away from Chase and his henchmen. When Leo arrives in the classroom, he ends up seeing Leaf, who is a spoiled rich kid, the one from the beginning of the story, along with his ex-girlfriend. They are there making out in the last row of the room. Then he ends up being a little upset with this, but he decides that he won't show his sadness because he doesn't want them to notice. Then the spoiled rich kid, Leaf, tells the girl that her boyfriend has just arrived. And she corrects him, saying that he's ex-boyfriend, because she doesn't like poor people like him, and she only likes rich people like the spoiled rich kid there. Then they start mocking the protagonist there. The rich kid thinks that Lily appeared there to look for him because she is looking all over the place, as if she really was looking for someone. Then he stands up, thinking that she is there because of him, because he is all conceited, because he thinks he is handsome, because he is rich. Then she passes right by him and goes to the protagonist's table. And all the other students there start gossiping about this. They seem not to believe that she is paying attention to a loser like the protagonist. Lily brought his jacket inside a bag and she says that she washed it. Then the protagonist smells her good smell there on his shirt. Then the other students start gossiping, saying that probably it was the protagonist who dumped Tiffany, and not the other way around, as she was spreading there to everyone in the school. And the rich kid gets angry and starts complaining. Then he asks the protagonist if he knows who this guy is there, and Leo says that he doesn't know this spoiled rich kid. Then Lily asks if she came back there just to return the jacket. And she says that actually there is another reason. Then with embarrassment biting her lips there, she asks if she can ask him a favor. And he, like a rascal as always, slaps his hand on the table there all excited, and says that he would do anything for her there. Then she says that she'll go straight to the point, and asks if he could teach her that scream that he gave yesterday, that made Chase fly away. Since she is a singer, she would like to learn this technique. Leo says that he will only teach her if she agrees to be his girlfriend. And she ends up accepting. Then it was very easy. He managed to date the most beautiful girl there at the university, just because he was going to teach her a music technique. And then she arranges to meet tonight in the music room to be able to train, and the boys in the room all start crying with envy. In the music room everyone there is training, while Leo is accepting the friend request there in the WhatsApp group. Then he continues exchanging messages with these crazy students from the group. This rich kid, along with the protagonist's ex-girlfriend, starts sucking up to a certain Hooks, who is the best musician there at the university. He shows to be a very jerk character. He keeps belittling everyone there. He thinks he's the best and everything. Then he ends up noticing that Lily has arrived and runs to suck up to her because she is very beautiful. The other students are gossiping about how Hooks and Lily make a beautiful couple. However, Lily quickly replies there to Hooks that they are not intimate enough for him to call her Lily. Then this Hooks says that if she agrees to be his girlfriend, he will make her win a singing contest because he is a friend of one of the judges. She refuses and says that she wants to win on her own and that her boyfriend will train her so that she can be champion. Then Hooks is outraged, saying that she has no boyfriend at all. Then she runs there to Leo and hugs him, saying that he is her boyfriend. And everyone there in the music room stops to watch that scene and starts commenting on it. The protagonist's ex-girlfriend there is dying of jealousy, while the rich kid there is envious. Leo realizes that this is a great opportunity and he is not going to waste it. Then he hugs the girl's waist there and responds confidently, saying that he is her boyfriend. Hooks, this musician there, starts creating a rivalry with the protagonist, and his ex-girlfriend says that Leo is just a poor guy from the countryside and that he doesn't understand anything about music. However, Lily tries to defend him, saying that the only thing the ex-girlfriend there knows how to do is try to belittle others and that she has no moral authority to say anything about anyone because she sells her body for money and that she should feel ashamed. Then the protagonist is all happy there, realizing that Lily is defending him. Then Hooks starts saying that Lily is a failure, that she would never win the contest because she didn't accept his help. Then Leo, with confidence, decides to defend her too and says that he is the lazy one and a failure because he heard that he had contact with the judges and that probably he won in the previous year not for his own merits. Then the protagonist realizes that that is the perfect moment to defend her because she was sad, and he argues that the real failure is the one who doesn't win with his own merits. Then, this Hooks proposes a challenge, a music competition between him and the protagonist. He says that he will never lose because he is the current champion, and the protagonist ends up accepting the challenge. The spoiled rich kid even proposes a bet, 100,000. He knows that the protagonist doesn't have that money to pay, and even so, Leo accepts there. Lily tries to convince him otherwise, but he says that he is confident and that if he wins, the other three of the warts will have to bark like dogs. Then they all agree and Hooks decides to present himself first. He starts singing and everyone there in the hall stops to listen to him. He seems to have a large legion of fans. Lily is afraid because she doesn't know if Leo is really able to beat him, but he transmits a confidence to her and she realizes that he is a mysterious guy and full of surprises. Hooks finishes his presentation there and everyone starts praising him, saying that he is incredible and he seems to be really good. Then it's the protagonist's turn to go on stage and start singing. Initially, some students there are insulting him, saying that they prefer Hooks, but when he starts singing they all melt. The magic of the music starts to enchant everyone and they realize that this music is made especially for Lily, and she gets emotional, and the students there also get all emotional and they feel touched by his music and they even start crying. At the end of the music, everyone starts shouting Leo's name, saying that they love him, and thus he ends up winning the dispute. Hooks realizes that he lost, so he takes a card there and throws it to the protagonist. He says that this card contains 100 and 100,000 and reveals the password there to the protagonist. Lily feels relieved and the protagonist celebrates smelling the card there that is full of money, and before they leave, Leo remembers the agreement. They needed to bark like dogs. The protagonist asks if Hooks will break the promise, and everyone there was listening to that, and they start asking them to comply. They start shouting bark bark. Hooks orders there and the two end up barking, which makes the whole audience laugh at them, but Hooks tries to leave without barking and the protagonist questions him if he's a coward, if he won't comply with the agreement. Hooks replies that he won't bark and that he will make the protagonist pay for this. All the girls present there express their love for Leo, recognizing him as someone incredible. Now they are his fan and not Hooks. Then the protagonist sits at a piano and starts playing a song there for them. When they are leaving, Leo and Lily walk hand in hand. She comments that the moment was incredible and thanks him. However, soon her expression there gets sad and the protagonist realizes that something happened. He holds her hands and looks deeply into her eyes, asking if there is something wrong. Lily says that everything is fine and the protagonist insists, saying that if everything was really fine she wouldn't be working in a bar. Then her phone rings and her mother answers that she's already on her way, and the protagonist asks where she is going. She replies that she is running to the hospital and the protagonist decides to go with her. Upon arriving there, Lily's mother is talking to the doctor, who informs her that she owes a very high amount to the hospital and that if they don't pay today they will be expelled from there. Lily arrives running there asking her mother what is happening, and her mother reveals that if they don't pay the debt they will be expelled and her father runs a serious risk of death. However, when the doctor realizes that the woman's daughter is very beautiful, he starts hitting on Lily there, but Leo soon appears and throws the card there in the doctor's face. The protagonist affirms that there is 100,000 there in that card and reveals the password to the doctor. Leo suggests that the doctor used this money to be able to pay for the treatment. The doctor, realizing that Leo possesses a lot of money, he thinks that it is not a good idea to upset an influential person like him. Little does he know that Leo is a poor guy, right? Then the doctor says that the money will only cover 1 month there of expenses. Lily argues that that money is his, that he doesn't need to spend it on her, and he replies that everything is fine since she is his girlfriend. Lily's mother asks who the guy is, leaving her embarrassed, and she replies that he is just a classmate, and Leo introduces himself there to her mother. Then the girl thanks him for what he did and says that she will repay the payment, and Leo says that she doesn't need to. The protagonist is wondering why she didn't say that they were boyfriend and girlfriend, and upon leaving the hospital he stares at her. When he sees it, she turns quickly and hugs him, thanking him. She tells that her father suffered an accident on the day that she was going to perform in the contest. He had an accident on the way to the location, and as he always supported her in her music career, this year's contest was very important to her. Unfortunately, her father was in a vegetative state. He could no longer wake up, and the protagonist says that she doesn't need to worry because he'll find some way to be able to help her father. At that moment she holds his hand and gives him a kiss. At that instant, that bully from the beginning of the story, Chase, appears and the protagonist tries to disguise. The bully's friends end up alerting him that that boy there is the one who stirred up the confusion there at the party. Then the protagonist, along with his girlfriend there, tries to sneak away, but Chase approaches and looks for trouble. However, he realizes that the protagonist gave that very strong scream pushing him away, so he's afraid of the protagonist. Leo realizes everything that is happening there and tries to calm the spirits, and the bully then realizes that this is a great opportunity for him to avoid the fight with the protagonist because he knows that he will be beaten again. So before leaving, Chase asks where the university is, and the protagonist points the way there without knowing. Chase mentions that he needs to go to that university to give a beating to a student called Leo. Leo and Lily realize there that Hooks called these bullies there to be able to beat him. Then Lily gets worried and the protagonist asks if she's worried about him. She says yes, and he ends up saying that she doesn't need to worry and that he will also find some way to help her father, and asks her not to worry about that. Then he accompanies her kid to the dormitory and they say goodbye there at the entrance. Then he takes his cell phone and starts reading the messages from those members of that group on WhatsApp. He decides to ask if anyone there knows any way to save a patient in a vegetative state. The members there of the group, they don't understand this and start suggesting a gardener, a biologist, or a plant specialist. They don't know what in a vegetative state means. At that moment, Jade, that bunny who sent the request and sent that photo to him, appears in hologram for him on his cell phone. She asks if he would like immortality pills. Then the protagonist asks if this cures people in a vegetative state and she replies that it doesn't, but soon after she explains that she doesn't know what vegetative state is, but she mentions that she knows a medical assistant who can create pills that help return the soul of the body to a person, that maybe that could be useful, and the protagonist realizes that this bunny will be very useful. He asks then if there's any pill that makes a person stronger in a short time, because he is afraid that Chase will come back there with his henchmen and want to fight him. Jade replies that there isn't, because the pills made by the Golden Flower Boy only work on mere mortals. Then he explains that that is the pill that he needs since he is immortal. Then Jade, this bunny, gives him the pill and says that it costs 10 merit points. The protagonist replies that he doesn't have those points. Then she reduces the price. She charges only 5 and he says that he doesn't have those either. Then the bunny starts crying. At that moment the protagonist sees a dog with a carrot in its mouth and he asks if she can take a carrot instead of that. Then she gets confused and asks what the hell is a carrot. Then the protagonist cleverly explains that the carrot is much better than these immortality pills. It is better than anything else that she has to offer, and she gets very excited. He asks then how he does to be able to send this carrot to her, and she replies that he just needs to scan it with his cell phone. Then he enters a tremendous fight there with the dog to get this carrot. Then he ends up scanning it there with his cell phone and the carrot disappears and is sent directly to the bunny. She thanks him and says that she will remember him, and then the protagonist starts running away from the dog that runs after him. Then he starts reflecting on whether he's a bad person since he lied there to the bunny. When he finally managed to escape there from the dog, he checks the pill. The pill promises to grant great powers to whoever ingests it, but this pill starts to grow rapidly, becoming huge, and at that moment the bullies there appear and say that he was deceived by him. Chase returned to confront the protagonist, mentioning that his ex-girlfriend Tina showed the photo on the cell phone and he ended up recognizing it and saw that the protagonist was the Leo that he was looking for. The protagonist stays hidden there behind the tree and starts eating the pill quickly to be able to gain the powers, and when one of Chase's henchmen is about to hit him with a baseball bat, the protagonist finishes eating the pill and his powers are activated and he makes Chase's henchmen there be thrown far away. After defeating the bullies, the protagonist realizes that the pill had a great effect, making him very powerful. Then he continues to defeat the other henchmen there of Chase. Then this bully, the leader, ends up giving in and asks to be a student of the protagonist. They start then arguing, and that spoiled little boy orders Chase to attack the protagonist anyway, but the protagonist is the one who ends up ordering, and chased away makes them bark like a dog again. Then the spoiled rich kid says that he has nothing to do with this and that nothing would have happened if it weren't for Tina and Hooks, that they are the culprits. Then the protagonist tells the rich kid to take a message to Hooks asking him not to do anything behind his back, that he should act like a real man, and then Chase starts sucking up to the protagonist asking to teach these blows that he just used. Then the protagonist ends up talking there about a training similar to that of Saitama from One Punch Man. Then this bully thanks him and ends up going away. The next day the protagonist's roommate wakes him up. The protagonist is dead tired there, so he can't even open his eyes properly. Then his friend says that the video like of him singing there in the music room went viral, and everyone is saying that now he is the king of music and that Lily is a singer who ended up getting a boyfriend. So she also becomes famous too. They comment badly about Hooks, the spoiled rich kid, and Tina, who is his ex-girlfriend, saying that their reputation is ruined, that they are people of a very bad character. Then the protagonist realizes that he became famous overnight and even starts to feel ashamed to leave the house. However, at that moment his girlfriend calls him saying that he became famous and that she is going to introduce him to her mother at a dinner tonight. Then they arrange a time. The protagonist is all happy since these last 3 days have been wonderful. Then arriving there at Lily's house for dinner, mother-in-law welcomes him. He enters there and realizes that her house is very simple. Then he asks who is taking care of her father in the hospital, since she and her mother are there in the house, and she replies that it is her sister who is taking care of her father. Then the protagonist looks there at the bookcase and sees a photo frame of her family. Lily's mother serves dinner and the protagonist says that it is delicious. She thanks him and mentions that she would have liked to have taken him to a more sophisticated restaurant, but that she didn't take him because they didn't have money for that. But the protagonist Leo says that this is not necessary because he much prefers homemade food. Then he starts eating quickly there until he chokes, and they laugh and tell him to eat calmly since that was not a competition. After dinner the girl's mother says that she needs to go to the hospital and ask Leo to keep her daughter company. Then they stay there alone awkwardly, not knowing what to say. The girl suggests that they sit on the sofa and that she will get some water, but both remain there embarrassed, not knowing what to say. While Lily goes to get fruits, the protagonist receives a message from Wong there on his WhatsApp, who's another divinity of this group. They're talking about a new pill called Divine Eyes and sends a book to the protagonist with this power. Then he ends up clicking and acquires the power Divine Eyes at level 1. Then when he looks at Lily returning with the fruits, his power is activated and he manages to see through her clothes. I bet most of you would like to have a power like this here, right, you rascals? Then he gets nervous and ends up spitting out the water that he was drinking, and while she stays there stop trying to understand all this that is happening, the protagonist scratches his eyes and his divine power is deactivated. Then he tries to give an excuse there saying that he choked on the water. Then he understands what this power Divine Eyes can do and he finds this power really incredible. When Lily's about to sit down, the protagonist holds her hand and pulls her close to his body and they kiss for a few seconds, but the protagonist ends up getting too excited and ends up touching an area that he shouldn't. Then she pushes him away, telling him not to do that in her house. Leo gets all embarrassed, apologizing, saying that he couldn't hold himself back, but Lily there starts laughing, saying that he's a silly and says that it's okay, that she was just surprised because the last time they kissed they were interrupted there by Chase. Then she asks him to stay calm and relax. He gives an awkward laugh and says that she really is adorable. Then Lily remembers that her father is there in the hospital, hospitalized in serious condition, and ends up getting sad. She says that she can't just keep thinking about her relationship while her father is hospitalized in critical condition. At that moment Leo has an idea. He says there that he knows someone who can help, and Lily there ends up getting a little happier. Then he takes his cell phone and sends a message in that WhatsApp group where there are several divine beings. He asks if anyone there knows of any pill that can bring the person's soul back to the body. Someone replies that they know. Then he gets excited to know that someone can help Lily's father, but the guy there in the group says that this pill only works with the mortal beings, and the protagonist ends up getting embarrassed because he just said that he knows someone who can help her father. Then Lily asks what the problem is, why he has that discouraged expression. Then the protagonist ends up explaining that it will take a while for him to be able to help her father because it is something complicated to solve. She gets sad but said that it's okay, that she trusts him, and he said that his heart hurts to see her with that sad face and that he will not give up until he finds a way to help her father. He then sends a message to another divinity asking if he knows of any pill that can resurrect the soul of immortals. The divinity replies that yes, but it costs 10,000 merit points. The protagonist doesn't believe that the value is so high. Then at the end of the night they say goodbye and he promises that he will find a way to cure her father. Lying there in his bed he continues the conversation with these divinities there in the group, and he meets one called Tang who says that he can help him. He asks why the protagonist needs an immortality pill. Then he disguises that it is just out of curiosity. The divinity mentions that speaking of immortals he would like to return to the world of mortals since it has been 3,000 years since the last time he came here. The protagonist got a little discouraged because the value of this pill was really very high and he wouldn't be able to pay. However, he receives a gift that is a heart-cleansing pill. This pill serves to erase the evil thoughts from the heart, but it only works with immortals. Then he asks Tang how much this pill costs. The divinity replies that it costs more or less 1,000 merit points. Then the protagonist decides that he will sell it to raise money to help Lily's father. He wonders who will buy a pill like this. Then he gets a little discouraged because he thinks that he won't be able to fulfill his promise, his little face. However, soon after the god of music makes an offer. He offers 300 Zuzian merit points, but the protagonist doesn't accept because he knows that the value is much more. Then this divinity of music ends up increasing his proposal to 500 and the protagonist makes a face there that he will not accept such a low value. Then the god of music offers 600 and says that he will play a song for free for him, but the protagonist already knows how to play several instruments and sings very well, so this has no value for him. Then the god of music says that he only has 600 Zuzian merit points and asks if he can pay the rest in some other way. Then he ends up offering a painting by a legendary Chinese painter. The next day the protagonist asks if his girlfriend wants to go out with him and says that he will wait for her there at the university gate. When she arrives she asks where they're going and he says that it is something good. Then he calls a taxi and says that she will see when they get there. Upon entering the taxi the driver asks if this beautiful girl is his girlfriend and he replies that yes. The driver asks if they are going to the Hall of Eternity and he says that it will only take a few seconds to get there. When they arrive they see that the store is gigantic and the salesman already starts judging the protagonist, saying that he's a hick and that the girl there next to him who is Lily is even pretty. Leo says that he wants to sell a painting and the salesman says to make it clear that they don't buy garbage. Lily finds this guy very rude and the protagonist gets a very serious look. Leo said that it is a painting by Tang Bo Hu, a legendary Chinese painter. Then the salesman says that he is kidding since there is no painting by this legendary painter for sale on the market and that original pieces are extremely rare and that they don't buy replicas. Then the protagonist could leave there. Leo says that the salesman is a stupid man and calls his girlfriend to leave since other people would like to buy an original painting of this legendary painter. At that moment the owner of the store there appears and asks if this painting is really original. Leo says yes and the salesman interrupts saying that it is just a replica. The owner of the store says that he shouldn't try to deceive others and Leo says that this really is an original piece. If he really thinks that it is a replica then he should go to another store since this store here doesn't have the reputation it deserves and that the real deceivers are them. At that moment we see that the protagonist is very changed. He's no longer that fool from the beginning of the story. He's already becoming a very bad guy. Then the salesman asks him to show the painting. Then he opens the box there and unrolls the scroll with the painting on the table. The salesman gets nervous and slams his hand on the table saying that that is not even a replica, that is truly a fraud and that he should call the police on the protagonist. The owner of the store says that he has been in this business for decades and has never heard of that painting and the protagonist is embarrassed along with his girlfriend Lily. He still continues speaking loudly cursing the protagonist there and this ends up attracting the attention of everyone there on the street and his ex-girlfriend and along with that spoiled little boy Hooks. We're passing by and decide to provoke the protagonist. They say that a poor guy like him would never have something valuable, that it could only be something fake and the protagonist wonders why they don't leave him alone. The owner of the store realizes that Hooks entered there and starts treating him very well since he is rich. Then he ends up saying hi to Lily and Lily rudely replies that she doesn't know him. Then she has to be able to leave because she doesn't like these boys and the protagonist says that it's okay but this stuck-up guy doesn't let them leave and asks to see what valuable thing he has there to sell. Several people on the street start entering the store to see what is happening since there's a shouting match. They comment that there is a charlatan there trying to sell a forged work and that he must get into trouble because of that. Others say that a charlatan is trying to sell a painting by the legendary Tang Bohu and that it is probably not original. Then Tina along with her boyfriend is trying to humiliate him saying that he is a fraud and that he needs to admit soon that he is trying to deceive everyone. Then Leo gets apprehensive realizing that everyone there is trying to make fun of him but he says that he won't let that happen. Then he ends up saying there to everyone that he will show the work but what would they do if this work was really original? Then the stuck-up guy when he hears this he starts to laugh and everyone who was outside starts to laugh too, laugh very loudly. Then the protagonist asks again what if it is original? Then Hooks says that if it is original he will change his surname to the surname of the protagonist's family. He says this in the form of mockery because he is wanting to humiliate the protagonist but the protagonist comes out very well because he says that he would not like to have a son like him. Then Hooks nervous says that if the work is really original he will buy any piece there from the store for him. He can choose any piece that he will buy. Leo finds his proposal interesting but he says that he still has another condition since on that day in the music competition he managed to get away and didn't bark. Now Hooks would have to fulfill his promise because if he defaulted again it would be very embarrassing. Then the protagonist asks if he would have the courage to bark. Hooks says that it's okay but if it is fake he will have to stop dating Lily and will have to leave the store crawling on the floor. The protagonist accepts the agreement. Then he puts the scroll there on top of the table and everyone gets apprehensive wanting to see what is inside there. Then he opens the scroll and is a work let's say hot right? Everyone there is shocked and then they start laughing. Lily gives Leo a pinch there and says that that really is embarrassing. The protagonist wonders why this divinity would lie to him. That never a divinity would give a forged work so he isn't out there whether it is really original or not. Then he turns there to the audience and asks if anyone there could authenticate this painting. Then they start discussing whether there is anyone there up to this mission. A man appears saying that he can try. This gentleman says that he has already authenticated several original works by Tang Bohu. The protagonist asks if his name is called Mr. Hang. His assistant says that he is the vice president of the Chinese Association of Paintings and Calligraphy. He has already authenticated 3 original works by this legendary painter. Several people in the audience begin to comment that he is the ideal person to discover if this work is original or not and that he is the best in the country. The salesman of the store there says that this work is not original, that it's a fraud, and Hooks demonstrates a certain admiration for the assistant there, Mr. Hang. He must also be someone very important that we will see later, so stay tuned. Hooks ends up saying there to Mr. Hang for him not to waste time with the poor charlatan like him, that this painting there is a fraud, that he has never heard of an erotic painting made by Tang Bohu. Then the expert gentleman calmly says that he will check if this work is original or not, and if by chance someone doubts his competence, and everyone replies that they don't. Then he approaches the painting there, and with his glasses he starts analyzing. Everyone is silent and apprehensive. After long minutes, people start calling the protagonist fraudulent. Hook starts singing a victory before the hour, saying that the protagonist will have to leave there like a little dog crawling on the floor, and the protagonist is questioning there if the god of music would have delivered him the fake painting. Then the expert asks how he got this painting, and the protagonist says that it was a gift from a friend of his. That gentleman said that his friend is very generous and asked the protagonist what price he wants on that work, that he can say the price that he wants, that he will pay. Everyone who is laughing there, now they're silent and they don't believe what they just heard. The gentleman tells him to go ahead and say the price soon. Tina says that that old man must be conspiring together with Leo and that the two must be a fraud. Then the spoiled rich kid interrupts her, putting his hand there on her mouth for her not to say anything else because he knows that she'll make him pass even more embarrassment. Leo says that since he liked it and helped to authenticate this work, he'll give a discount. He'll charge only 10 million. The crowd begins to think that he's crazy to put such a high price. Then they say that this is too much money for him to stop playing with that gentleman, but the expert starts laughing and says that another work by this author was sold a few years ago for 11.5 million. So really he was giving a discount there for him. The specialist assistant asks the protagonist for the bank account because he will transfer the money right now, and the protagonist is thinking there that he should have asked for more, right, that he asked for little. Then he looks there at his cell phone and is extremely happy because he is rich. His money had fallen into the account. His interested ex-girlfriend comes running back there saying that she loves Leo, however Lily and Leo himself say no, and she gets sad there in the corner. Hooks then calls his friends to go away, but Leo says that he has to wait and that he will not run away again this time. He replies that he was not trying to run away and that the protagonist can choose there anything that he will pay as he had said. Then the protagonist starts choosing some things, and the stuck-up guy there is thinking that it would be good if the protagonist did not choose anything expensive. Then the protagonist asks there to the owner of the store how much that painting costs, and the gentleman replies that it costs 100 to 100,000. Hooks in the back is listening to everything. Then the protagonist decides to take something even more expensive, so the guy there gets furious while Lily is laughing. Then he chooses a painting of 1 million. Adding up all the money that he has already earned, it gives 11 million. He becomes a millionaire. Then he asks there to Lily if he really is not too much, and she says in a cute way that yes. Then he asks a naughty question there to her if she would not like to see something even more incredible that he has. Then she gets embarrassed and says that there are many people there nearby. Hook starts to go away saying that the protagonist should not get cocky and that next time he will not let it go cheap, but Leo calls him and says that there is something that he has not done yet, which is to imitate a dog. He starts complaining saying that he will not do that. However, that assistant of the specialist says that he must comply with his word. Then he is left without exit and ends up imitating a dog. Soon after he gets furious and orders there that his friends also imitate a dog, and they also imitate, and all that crowd there starts laughing at them. When the protagonist leaves the store there together with his girlfriend, everyone who was there around starts commenting about them. Lily asks her boyfriend if that painting that he sold is really original, and also asks if it was a gift from a friend of his. He replies that no, that he just found that painting. Then he calls Lily to train singing, but before he would need to pass there in his dormitory to store this painting. When he arrives in the singing room there, all the students there run to find him. He had just gained a legion of fans, however Lily is left aside and she stays there in the corner watching everything. Already on the other day early, he wakes up to check his WhatsApp. He realizes that he did not receive that red envelope that he had received every day in the form of a gift. Then he wonders if the divine beings do not wake up early to see the WhatsApp. Soon after, he receives a message from the bunny saying that she spoke with the boy of the golden flower about the patient and vegetative state, and that she ended up passing the contact to this boy. Soon after, this boy calls there to him and soon appears in hologram form. He asks if the protagonist needs pills that resurrect the soul of mortals. Then Leo says yes. Then the boy asks for what he needs it. Then Leo replies that it is none of his business and asks if he can really make these pills. The boy says yes, but has a condition. If the protagonist could give him a carrot, or at least half of a carrot, since Jade Bunny said that these carrots are as precious as the peaches of immortality. Then Leo starts laughing and says that he will give a whole carrot for him, and the boy thanks him. The boy also says that these immortality pills may be too strong for the mortal and that the chance of success is only 10%. Then the protagonist asks if the pill that resurrects the soul of immortals can serve for something, and the boy says that yes. That it can be diluted there in the preparation and that it can end up helping in the effectiveness. Then the protagonist accepts the agreement. Soon after, the protagonist realizes that he is a millionaire. His awareness had not yet hit him, and that the boy there of the golden flower withdrew all his 600 merit points because he said that he needed ancient eyes from the Dragon King to be able to dilute this pill. At this instant, the protagonist receives a call from his mother. She said that his sister does not want to go to school, and the protagonist, as he is close to his sister, he needs to go there to solve these problems. Then he asks if it was his Aunt Mary who ended up saying something to his sister. His mother does not reply. Then he decides that he will go there to fix his family. Later there in the classroom, he's thinking that he needs to buy new clothes, so he calls his girlfriend to go together, and they end up going to a big shopping mall. She asks what they came to do there, and he replies that they came to buy clothes, but she comments that the clothes there are expensive, and Leo says that she does not need to worry because now they are rich and he can pay for expensive clothes, and then he holds her hand and drags her. However, she does not get excited at all with this, and upon arriving there everything is luxurious and the people there seem to be very feudal, and this ends up leaving her even more uncomfortable. He says that soon there is a women's clothing store, so he calls her to go together. She says that he has already done a lot for her and that he does not need to buy expensive clothes. However, he does not listen and says that he can pay for that very beautiful dress, and she gets all shy in the corner saying that these things are too expensive. At this instant, the attendant there of the store mistreats them, saying that they are poor and that they cannot pay for expensive clothes. Lily, who is already feeling uncomfortable, she gets even more embarrassed and withdraws from the store, and the protagonist ends up running after her, asking what happened since she has been acting strange lately. Biting her lip, she says that she may even be beautiful, but she is poor and never dreamed of a life of wealth. She wants to conquer everything with her own work, and now that he is rich, people are feeling more attracted to him because of his money, and she hates that people look at her thinking that she is only with him because of the money. Then she starts crying, saying that she is not enough for him. Then Leo says that actually the two are the same because they are shy and cowardly and are facing difficult things. After having been betrayed, he thought that his life was over, but God gave him another chance when he met his girlfriend Lily. She made him confident, and that is why he was lucky to have met her. Now he wants to make her also confident and show the bad people who mistreated her that she is his girl, and then she gets surprised with what he just said. Then Leo holds her hand and pulls her, saying that he will not let anyone belittle her. Then he takes her back to that store. When he arrives there, the saleswoman thinks that the hick has returned. Then he starts pointing to all the clothes, saying that he wants her to pack them all. Then the woman gets without reaction and starts laughing. She asks if he is kidding since he is wearing a cheap shirt. She says that he has no money at all. Then Leo opens the application there of his bank and asks for the virtual assistant to say what his bank balance is, and his balance is more than 10 million. Then she gets surprised and he asks if that is enough. Then she says yes and apologizes for her foolishness, saying that she will pack all those products of the store right now, and she gets super happy because she will earn a very fat commission if she sells all the pieces there of the store. Lily gets worried, but the protagonist gives a wink there to his girlfriend as if to say to her to stay calm. After half an hour, the saleswoman says that she packed all the pieces there of the store and says that the bill gave 5 million and says that she gave a little discount for him. Then she asks if he will pay with credit card or in cash, and in a mocking way he does not answer. Then she has to ask again. Then Leo says that there is a cool store on the other side and that he will go there to take a look. She asks if he is kidding because he asked for her to pack all the clothes, and in a more mocking way still. He mentions that he asked indeed, but he never said that he would buy them all. And he says that she is an idiot because nobody would buy all the clothes from a store, and that he thinks that she is not up to this job, and then he calls his girlfriend and they go away to another store. Lily says that he went too far and that he should not have mocked her, and Leo says that it was too good for her to learn because she had belittled his girlfriend. Then he asks if she is feeling better, and she says that yes. The saleswoman of the store gets furious and she says that they will have to pay for this. Then she takes her cell phone and calls Chase for him to be able to go there to resolve this situation. Hours later, Leo and Lily are trying on several clothes and posing in front of the mirror with several different looks. Then even a romantic atmosphere starts to roll there between them. Leo says that there is a saying that says that clothes make the man. Then he asks how he is, and Lily says that he is great. Leo says that he also needs to buy clothes for his father and for his mother, and asks if she can help him, and she replies with a smile on her face that yes. Chase arrives and the saleswoman of the store is crying. He tells that Hooks asked him to beat Leo, but Leo ended up sending all his henchmen and Hooks his henchmen straight to the hospital, and only he escaped because he had managed to pretend there that he admired Leo and even asked him to be his master. Then the protagonist appears there in the corridor of the shopping mall, and the saleswoman points to him, saying that he is there the person with whom she wants him to take revenge. Then she starts celebrating, saying that the young man there will beg on his knees. Then Leo observes Chase there and asks what he is doing. The saleswoman gets surprised because she did not know that they already knew each other. Chase kneels and says that it is good to see his master there, and the saleswoman gets surprised with all that. She does not know what she thinks. Then the saleswoman says that he was the Leo that she wanted Chase to take revenge on. However, at this instant Chase pulls her by her blouse and makes her also kneel, calling her stupid for not having messed with his master. Leo asks what he is doing with this woman, and he explains that she is his ex-girlfriend. Then the protagonist asks if Chase knows of any place where he can buy a car because he bought a lot of clothes and food and now needs a car, and Chase says that he will take him there and ask him to enter in his van. Then they enter and go away, leaving the saleswoman there abandoned alone on the floor. Lily does not understand why Chase was afraid of Leo because she did not know that her boyfriend had given a beating on him and on his henchmen. Then the protagonist disguises, saying that he probably impressed him with his charm. He says there to his girlfriend to choose a car, but she does not understand much. Then the salesman appears and presents himself as Jack, and he starts offering several cars. He offers one of 900,000, but the protagonist does not like it. Then he offers one of 1.5 million, and Leo also does not like this car. Then the salesman asks what car he wants, but the protagonist says that he has no idea at all. Then an arrogant customer there appears and tells the salesman not to worry because he did not have much money. He was disrespecting Leo. He introduces himself as Mr. Lee, and he says that the salesman is very experienced, so he should already imagine this. That boy there did not have money to pay for a luxury car. The salesman there gets embarrassed and greets Mr. Lee, and Mr. Lee says that he came there to buy a car for his girlfriend and he's already choosing a very expensive car. Then he sees Lily there and finds her very beautiful and starts hitting on her, and she gets uncomfortable. The protagonist says that they are just normal people, but yes, he looks like a frog that eats swan, and the girl there, she's asking if the protagonist thinks that she looks like a swan and says that he's cute. Then this Mr. Lee complains, asking if he really looks like a frog, and his girlfriend corrects, saying that that is not what she meant. Then Leo finally finds a car that he likes and chooses, and the salesman says that this car costs 4 million. Then everyone there rolls their eyes, right? I'm even starting to think that the protagonist's money will end soon. Then he says that he will take this car as a gift for his girlfriend and the girlfriend of Mr. Lee. She said that she also wants one for her. Then he tells her to shut up and says that she's going too far.